welcome to another episode of our Let's Talk Cyber Resilience podcast series, where we get to meet the leaders of cybersecurity and data resilience. I'm your host, Savannah O'Hare, and I'm joined today by Max Henderson, our Global Head of DFIR. Max, thank you so much for joining us today. You've been at Kroll now for about 3-4-ish months, I think, now leading the DFIR practice. How have the first few months been, and what gets you most excited about this role?
Super excited to be here. I've known Kroll for I think 8 or 9 years now since I first crossed paths on similar types of casework. So I knew a lot about the team, the infrastructure, and really the consistency case to cases. So really excited to be a part of it, to actually see what's going on behind the scenes, to walk into an amazing existing team, as well as the opportunity to bring in a few additional resources that I think are really key to highlight additional capabilities that we're able to do. But again, I've known Kroll for so long, and just so excited to be a part of such a wonderful organization that's been around for a very long time.
I know we're very happy to have you. The team was very excited to get you on board. And I know you've had a lot of experience leading IR teams, and you're now growing the DFIR practice here at Kroll, as we just discussed. But what lessons have you learned in your time, sort of in the trenches, in your past experience, that you want to bring to this current role?
Yeah, I think it's at the end of the day, I think it's passion. I truly love the art of doing forensics. I've done it for so long now, and each and every time that I have an opportunity to see a case unfold, each time there's little nuances that really highlight that we can't get stagnant, we can't get bored with any types of work that we're doing. And I think that the world of forensics offers quite an opportunity to keep every day very new and exciting, and I know that the team really embraces that as well. So I think just having done the work before, and seeing the evolution over the years of the different criminals and threat actors, and keeping pace with that, and using the different teams across the intel team, the forensics team, the proactive team, even the pen testing team, really bringing all that together to kind of highlight again, what we view as very new advancements in the space, and continue to keep up both our tool sets, our skill sets, our knowledge, and our passion of that as a whole is going to be the MO on a day-to-day basis here.
I love that phrase, the art of forensics. I feel like that needs to be used far more often, particularly with all the attacks that we've seen just this last summer, with scattered spider in the retail industry and insurance and aviation. And I feel like there's always sort of impending shadow of CLOP. Can sometimes make it feel like there's not a lot that business can actually do to stay safe. I feel like we've been hearing a lot on the news about it already being happening. But what are some of the current challenges that you're hearing from clients or people that you're speaking to in the industry that they face when it comes to DFIR?
Yeah, I think anytime the news headlines get dominated, for example, here with Scattered Spider first, you start to focus and hone in on their tactics, their tendencies, and then you start to easily forget that there's other groups out there that are lingering who we expect will come back, such as CLOP, who often are associated with a zero-day vulnerability. So now you're trying to compartmentalize your thought process around these social engineering, these phone calls that Scatter Spider does, but then remembering the actual patching and updating and resilience to act fast when CLOP does hit. Because usually when that happens, it is a 0 day, right? You have 0 days to react. You have 0 days worth of knowledge to respond to that. And then there's other groups you see like Akira that just hit with the sonic wall vulnerabilities that are also a stark reminder that there's more than just the ones who are in the headlines out there. There are other groups who are lingering. There are other groups that are researching and preparing, and will be launching an assault here, I would say in the fall. Would not surprise me to see another 0 day vulnerability drop with pretty newsline headworthy activity.
I mean, I'm sure you think this because you've been doing it for so long, and you've been in the IR trenches, like you said, doing the art of forensics for well over a decade now. And so I'm sure you see how this industry has changed over the last 10 to 20 years. But what do you think has changed the most in the industry, and how do you see this evolving further, given the attacks you just mentioned and what you've seen?
I think it's speed, both speed from the attacker stance and speed from the response stance. I mean, gone are the days where you used to have to ship off all your affected servers and wait for that to go through these processing tools. There's a lot more rapid forensics, a lot more triage forensics that really get you the answers that you need. But unfortunately, the threat actors are just as fast. You look at the dwell times, the time to encryption, exfiltration on some of these ransomware groups, and it's shortened year over year for many years now. I also think that the the AI aspect and really introducing an easier route for English speaking, whether it's in phishing emails, whether we're going to start to see that translated to deep fake and getting on actual phone calls. You saw it with Scattered Spider, but you also see that they're based in the UK, in the US. Perhaps that's going to open the door to more Eastern European criminals who aren't quite native speakers being able to hop on the phone. So a lot of different areas to watch with the rising dynamics, with the advancements of AI, as well as the advancements of our tool sets also being powered by AI and whatnot there. So I think, again, I think it's just going to be faster and faster as the years go on, but super excited to kind of see all the little twists and nuances that come with it.
Yeah, it's about keeping pace, right? Like not just the technology, but with those that are trying to sort of infiltrate and attack your networks too. So it's a constant race there. Speaking of, did you have any sort of standout or memorable moments when IR either went incredibly well, as in you managed to stop everything in time and it was sort of an amazing achievement, or when things sort of went disastrously wrong because there weren't enough protections in place?
I think naturally, of course, when things went wrong or when they come to mind, just you really work through the night in some of these cases over the years. And I recall staying up all night with this affected entity, and they ended up fat fingering their blocks at the end of the day, which were ineffective at preventing that threat actor from coming back in. So that was fun to kind of wake up and have to race against that. I think that we still accomplished a lot there, but there's also the happy times too. I think looking at all these different, especially mom and pop shop that are really reliant on one vendor turning them back on and getting them turned back on, and then getting told that you saved the company. I think those ones stick with you. But even at the enterprise level, I think you look at even life and death situations in the healthcare space, and knowing that you took the proper steps to kind of enable them to turn operations back on and accept patients and get off ambulance diversion. I think those are the ones that are really make you sleep well at night. But of course, being somewhat perfectionist, I can't help but think of the times that things could have been a little bit different.
Only human nature, no? I feel like to think that way. I think your passion for forensics and the industry really has been like shining through. So to close out, what would you say to someone who's starting or pivoting or just wanting a career in cybersecurity?
I think for anybody who's entering the space, there's a lot of different aspects that are easy to get caught up in. I think that a lot of the advancements and especially college coursework today steer off of the basic fundamentals. I think that if you look at corporate America, so much of it is still built on Active Directory and still have so many components of traditional physical environments. And I think that a lot of times we get stuck on the latest and greatest advancements in the cloud space and containerization and Kubernetes, et cetera. And oftentimes those core fundamentals that tie back to still the widest area within the industry, those gaps are really apparent as it relates to Active Directory, as it relates to authentication, as it relates to perimeter access on network. You see a lot of those basic fundamentals get skipped over. So I would advise to focus on anything Active Directory, make sure that you have that skill set, because while there are going to be advancements and things that are really cool and neat to keep up with, it's going to take some time for the rest of the organizations to kind of get there. So start basic, learn what most of the corporations are using, and then start to get into the latest and greatest.
I think that's some very sage and great advice. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for joining our conversation and spending some time with me chatting all about DFIR. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining us for another insightful conversation. Learn how our cyber and data resilience experts can help your business. Stay ahead with Kroll.